In May 1845, the two most advanced exploration ships on Earth left England to conquer the last blank space on the map. They carried 129 hand-picked men, 3 years of food, and the confidence of an empire. 2 months later, whalers saw them moored to an iceberg in Baffin Bay, waiting for the ice to open. Then the Franklin expedition sailed west, and every single man vanished. The prize was the Northwest Passage, a sea route over the top of America that Europe had hunted for 3 centuries. Sir John Franklin, a 59-year-old veteran of 3 Arctic expeditions, was given HMS Erebus and HMS Terror, bomb ships with reinforced oak hulls, iron-plated bows, and something no polar expedition had ever carried: steam engines and retractable propellers to force a way through the ice. Below decks they stowed a marvel of the industrial age: 8,000 tins of preserved meat, soup, and vegetables, enough for 3 years. The contract had gone to the lowest bidder, a supplier named Stephen Goldner, who soldered his tins hastily with lead. Some historians believe that decision mattered enormously. Others point out the Arctic hardly needed help killing men. Both, it turns out, were right. The expedition's first winter camp was found years later on tiny Beechey Island, along with 3 grav, 3 young sailors, dead in the very first months, buried in permafrost so cold their bodies survived intact. When scientists exhumed them in the 1980s, the frozen faces stared back as if asleep, and their bones carried elevated lead. The expedition had left its first warning behind and sailed on. In September 1846, off King William Island, the ice closed around Erebus and Terror and never let go. 2 summers came and went without a thaw. Scurvy crept through the crews as the canned food ran short or turned bad. And on the 11th of June, 1847, in the middle of the frozen wasteland he had come to conquer, Sir John Franklin died. Even his grave has never been found. We know any of this because of a single sheet of paper hidden in a stone cairn. The Victory Point note was written twice. In May 1847, an officer recorded, almost cheerfully, "All well." 11 months later, a second, shakier hand crowded the margins. Ships abandoned, 24 men dead. The survivors, 105 of them, setting out on foot for the Canadian mainland, 600 miles away. No one made it. Inuit hunters later described what they had seen: ghost-thin white men hauling a boat on a sledge, falling as they walked. Search parties found the trail, skeletons in scraps of uniform, a lifeboat pointed backwards toward the ships, loaded absurdly with silverware and soap, and on some of the bones, cut marks that told the darkest chapter: the last survivors had eaten their dead. What followed was the greatest rescue mission of the 19th century. Lady Jane Franklin refused to accept her husband's death and shamed the world into searching. More than 30 expeditions over 2 decades. They failed to save a single man, but in failing, they mapped the entire Arctic archipelago. The passage Franklin died for was finally charted by the men sent to find him. Then, after 169 years, the sea gave the ships back. In 2014, Canadian searchers found HMS Erebus resting almost intact in shallow water, precisely where Inuit oral tradition had always said a great ship sank. 2 years later, Terror was found too, eerily preserved, plates still on shelves, in a bay that had carried its name for a century. The best sonar of the modern age confirmed what Inuit testimony had recorded all along. Divers are inside the wrecks now, working room by room toward the captain's cabins, where logbooks sealed in Arctic mud may yet survive. If they do, the dead of the Franklin expedition may finally tell their own story: what happened in those 3 frozen years. 129 men sailed into the blank space on the map. The map is finished. Their story isn't. Subscribe, the vault isn't done giving up its dead.